Bum. Hey guys, welcome to episode 28 of the weekly. Sorry we started a little bit late. We had a few technical difficulties, but we are here. And with me today is someone new, but really not new to what we do here, is Chewy. How's it going, man?
Going all right now?
Good. Now, so Chewy is part of the BW1 network, and Mr. Warren Bowman will be late as usual. Mr. Juan Bagnell is late right now. He's having some technical difficulties, and I don't know where Sam is. So let's get the show on the road. Now, usually we have a useless list for the week, and I have none. I have nothing that fits that criteria, but if anyone has any uselessness, please leave it down in the chat, and then we can definitely talk about it and discuss. But let's go to our very first topic of the day, and that is the Galaxy Note 7. I wanted to get our thoughts on Samsung's latest device. You were there at the launch event. I was there. Mr. Juan Bagnell was there. So was Warren, and none of them are here. But I'll start off with you, Chewy. So what did you think about it? Okay, I'll give it in two stages because I think we had different perceptions of the device from the announcement to when you first actually held the device. So when we sat down during the press conference, what did you think? You know, Samsung went through this whole rigmarole talking about the Galaxy Note 7. So what did you think of the device then?
I mean, honestly, I thought they were going to do what they did with the Note previously. It was going to be, a lot better. They're going to showcase a lot of new breakthroughs that they have with the technology, and this was going to be one of their flagship phones a leading flagship phone ahead of the Galaxy, actually. And It turned out it was pretty much just like the regular S7.
Mm-hmm. And so did that change when you finally got your hands on the device, or was it just still the same for you? Because, for me, initially felt like, okay. They went down this route where they were just like, okay, it's pretty much the S7 with just a pen. So right. Did it change for you when you actually got your hands on the device, or was it still the same?
It still kind of felt the same. I mean, I like their new water resistant feature, and that was pretty cool to play around with. But aside from that, it pretty much felt just like anything. I mean, it didn't really change.
Okay, it didn't really change. For me, it changed a little bit. Just because, especially you holding both devices side by side, the Note 7 felt more comfortable to hold than the S7 Edge. The S7 Edge, whenever I hold my S7 Edge, especially if I want to just kind of go through, I have to like really put my fingers on the edges here so that I don't touch the edge screen. I just have to hold the bezel. The Note felt a little bit better. I liked all the new S Pen functionality. The one that I didn't spend that much time with, but I really like, is the fact that you can create little GIFs with it, with the S Pen. You take it out, you have a video, you can create a GIF off a video right there. So, I know Warren loves his memes and GIFs, so that's gonna be huge for him.
Yeah, he's gonna pop those out a lot faster now. That's gonna be
exactly. That's so bad. Yeah, he's just gonna something happens. He's like, yep, there you go. Boom. Or if you have some kind of funky face in the video, you're like,
yep.
That's it, done.
I remember I posted a picture of my sister on Facebook where she was just like really mean mugging me, and then within 2 minutes it was already a meme that he created, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, if you guys don't know, Warren is like our meme creator. That's what he does. I mean, if you check out his Instagram, or even any memes I post, I get a photo and I send it to Warren, and Warren sends it back to me as a meme. That's what happens. So for the longest time, Warren was my meme or GIF generator, and now Samsung has created one for me. But I mean, like for me, the S Pen functionalities were cool. I really liked the fact that, the S Pen, you could write on the water with it. Now it seemed kind of useless until, I saw one of the ads again where, the person just took out the Note 7 and started writing while it was raining. It was one of those things where, if you want to take information down or anything, you can just do it at any point in time. There's nothing stopping you now.
Right.
You don't have to let's get to, somewhere where it's a little dry or something like that. So that's the part that I think it makes a lot of sense for me. Other than that, though, it was, I mean, yeah, it did feel a little bit like the Galaxy S7. I think that's where, a lot of people kind of feel a little let down. But I think Samsung has moved to the S7 as the main device, and then Note 7 as its follow up, like just a continuation to make sure, this is our standard across the board.
Right. Yeah, it seems like they kind of like swapped the roles, because it used to be the Note that they was, the device, and then like the Galaxy was kind of the follow up. And
Yeah, definitely. It's interesting that has changed. I was talking to another YouTuber, and he basically put it this way: it's like Samsung has cleaned up their lineup in the sense that you have a 5-inch, you have a 5.5, and you have a 5.7. So if you want to go really big, you go with the Note 7. If you want something that is, just kind of in the middle, that's the S7 Edge. And then if you just, you've got small hands, or like Juan says, hobbit hands, and you go with the S7.
yeah.
And I think that's where it really lies. Let's see. What's your favorite Samsung phone, says Renee?
My favorite Samsung phone would have to be the Galaxy S6 Active, because I do a lot of outdoor stuff. I drop my phone all the time, and I really don't have time to fumble between different cases all the time, trying to make sure that the case is not too banged up or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I do a lot of swimming, so of course having a waterproof phone, if I forget, hey, I'm on a boat, I'm gonna jump in real quick. Oh no, my phone's in my pocket. I don't have to worry about it being destroyed or ruined because of that. And now with the S Note 7, you can do that same thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the Note line has always been my best line of phones. I'm using the S7 Edge right now, and I kind of missed the Note 5. So I'm happy with the Note 7 that, the water resistance and also the new features are added there. Like personally, I would have liked to see an improved camera, even though the S7 camera is the best camera in my mind right now. I would like to just always, because Samsung was always improving it. So I just wanted to see them do something else,
right.
with the camera. Stuff like that where, it would be nice. I mean, granted, the one feature it does have, it has HDR, so you can record HDR content with it. But it's only at 1080p, not 4K HDR. And you can also watch HDR content on the display. At least right now, Amazon is the only one who's supporting it via the app. So I'm sure Samsung will, get Netflix on board, and, for Netflix, it makes sense. I mean, there's so many Samsung makes so many devices, you might as well in the first place. So that part, I want to see how effective it would be. I think you will notice, some people might say, well, why would I want to have HDR on a small screen? HDR is high dynamic range, so it's going to affect the colors, the brightness, not necessarily your pixels. So it's not about, how sharp per se, but it's going to make things pop a little more, make it look more vibrant, make it really look seamless, as you're watching, especially since this is a AMOLED display. We've got better blacks on there with it anyway, and you've got that nice color contrast with HDR. I think you're going to get a really good viewing experience. If you're just watching content off your phone, I think that just helps a long way. So hopefully, even YouTube supports it somehow in some way, maybe with YouTube original content, because I know I don't shoot anything in HDR, so don't expect me to give you HDR content. Just saying. But but I think it makes sense. Let's see. Blood Flow High says the Note 7 feels better in hands. iMike says the weekly. What's up, guys? What's up, man? Let's see what else you say here. The Note 7 would be mine, debating between black or blue. I say blue. The coral blue is nice. The black is something that's standard.
Right. I think the blue is something like if you want something different with your phone and you don't really need or want to, these big obsessive cases, then the blue's a nice touch.
Yeah, definitely.
It complements it real nice. Yeah.
The Note will be, while being a great flagship, is a utility flagship. Everyone isn't going to buy the Notes. The S7 is for everyone. Yeah, definitely, I agree. And I think that's why Samsung has now realigned its line of devices. The S7 sells more. Definitely does. So why not just make it a graduating scale of the S7? If you think about it, right, it really is that graduating scale of utility. The S7 is a traditional device. It has all the specs, all the features you need. Now, if you're going, ooh, I like this curved screen, then you go to the Edge. And you go, okay, yeah, right, that curved screen is cool. But if you go, I really like the S Pen, and I write a lot of notes, so I take things down back and forth, then that's the other device for you. So you can pick and choose, and I think Samsung is trying to make it more of a pick and choose rather than it being, oh, this is the better one or this is the better one. To say, look, it doesn't matter, our devices will always be this way across the line. And I think it makes sense for them now, just because the way specs battle is going, even if the specs, the Note 8, for instance, next year follows the S8, in terms of specs, the specs from the beginning of the year are not going to change that much to the end. Maybe more RAM will be the only thing you keep getting, but your processor, whatever new processor at the beginning of the year will be the same, will be a slight variant of that at the end of the year. So you're not missing much, from the device. And I think that's where they're trying to go with it, with the device.
Right.
Blood High Flow says people are getting fooled with the Note 7, thinking that Samsung Galaxy S7 Edge and still don't know it was the Note 7. No, I don't think so. I think when you hold the Note 7, you will know. It feels more, I don't know, just has this, it's got this wider berth and very, very comfortable feel to it. So I think a lot of people, will understand the difference. Plus, you see the S Pen slider anyway. So at that point, if you don't know what the device is, then you shouldn't buy the phone. Just stop right there. All right, let's move on to our next topic. So the LG V20 is rumored to be launching around during IFA. IFA is a big tech show that happens in Berlin, Germany. I said Belgium, apologize. And the rumored, I think, launch date is around the 6th. That's what I'm hearing. Did you ever try out the V10?
No, I never really got the chance to try out the V10.
Yeah, so the LG V20 is rumored to, it's LG's next big device. Now, the LG had the LG G5 earlier this year. That didn't do so well. It's supposed to be a modular phone, and it was kind of wonky because you got to move the batteries to add any modular part to it, which to me makes no sense. Compared to what Motorola has, where you're just slapping on things in the back, and it's so much easier to use that way. So the V20 is LG's next attempt to kind of boost things in the market. Now, the V10 was a well-beloved smartphone from last year. It had that massive display, 5.7. It had a ticker on the top. And we're looking at what we're hearing for rumors for the next device. So we're saying that on paper, it's going to be 4 gigs of RAM. The V10 second display will still be there, and this will be 5.7-inch QHD display. Expected to run a Snapdragon 820, so same as the Galaxy Note line and other devices that are currently on the market. But we'll spot a 21 megapixel camera. Now, the V10 last year, let me just confirm the specs, because I know if I say something wrong now, someone's going to try and chew me over that in terms of what the actual specs are for the device. Oh yeah, Sam joined us, man. He's here. Hey. Sam, we can't hear you. Okay. While Sam fixes his audio, I'm still gonna look for the V10 specs just to make sure, so I don't miss it and anyone crucifies me here. So in terms of camera, it had a 16 megapixel camera, f1.8. The processor for that device, I believe, was a Snapdragon 808 processor. Big battery at 3,000 milliamps, really solid all around. Now the V20 here is rumored to be, like I mentioned, the 21 megapixel rear camera, 8 front-facing camera. You've got QHD display, 4 gigs of RAM. But of course, I think LG is going to keep working on the camera aspect of it. They still have Joseph Gordon-Levitt, talking about the V20 in a recent video, and talking about all the editing features, because that phone did have a lot of editing features in there, and also the camera had a lot of functionality that you find in higher-end cameras. So since Sam just joined us, I'm going to ask him, is there any excitement for the V20? I mean, because it was a really good phone last year, but are you intrigued about it, or are you at this point where you go, well, LG, I'm sorry?
Well, I guess I'm at a point where with the G5, LG tried something new and it didn't really work. So it sounds like the V20 is going to be more of the same. I mean, more of the old V10 with a few enhancements. So I think they're learning. They learn from the mistakes, which is you don't totally change what your phone is just because you're trying to do something. So if the V20 gives you a better camera, like you're saying, gives you a better editing tools, then definitely, I think if, for people who like that, for content creators out there, this is probably something that you should.
Yeah. What do you think, Chewy?
Um, I think it's pretty interesting. I mean, I don't really have too many thoughts about this particular phone in particular. I mean, I haven't really had a chance to take a look at the V10 previously. So, I mean, I would love to get my hands on it to give it a good, test drive.
Okay. So your audio is a little choppy. You might need to reconnect or check your microphone. It's coming in. I think Sam stole your audio because once you started.
I came in and probably all your audios went bad because one more person connected.
All right. So before we continue, though, Sam, your thoughts on the at least what you and I know you weren't there, but seeing the announcement of the Galaxy Note 7. What do you think about the device? The device. Just to run through some of the features again. You've got waterproofing, but also with the S Pen is waterproof. The fact that you can write in the rain and in water with it, so no matter where you are, your S Pen is fully active. The S Pen also has a feature of translation now. You have a translate feature where you can translate text and languages all together. You can leave notes now on your always on lock screen if you want to. So you have that there, as well as the fact that you can now create GIFs or GIFs, whichever way. What is it? How's it pronounced? GIFs, right?
I think it's
GIFs. So you can now create GIFs directly using your S Pen from videos. You just go hit record and it records 10, 20-second GIFs. So since you're the Galaxy Note guy. I mean, for you, the Note has been always your device that you use, especially, I remember once, I asked Sam, I'm like, do you really like the Note? He's like, I use it at work, and he showed me pages of
hundreds of notes on that thing.
Yeah.
The thing is simply that people did not realize this, but apparently Aquaman.
Well, I can't hear you. You're breaking up there.
I said apparently Aquaman uses the notes as well.
Yes, he does.
Aquaman. The waterproofing and the translation. How do you think he talks to fishes? He uses it to translate. I think the device is amazing. I was a little disappointed that it only came with 4 gigs of RAM on there.
Yeah.
But there are rumors still coming up again that the 6 gig of RAM that we heard rumored might not be dead. There might be a version out of that, so I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But overall, I think they did everything they needed.
So would you get the 6 gig 128?
Hell yeah.
Okay, all right. That's going to be close to 1,000.
If that option was out, hell yeah, I'll get the 6 gig 128.
Okay, all right.
This device it's a powerhouse. It's a device I use on a daily basis because I put it in my pocket. Most of us carry our phones with us. Even at work, we have our phones with us. You don't always have a pen and a pencil, but if you have the Note 7 on you, you can always take a note. And it's not as though you lose that note, especially when you sync it up to the cloud. You can get it from anywhere. So it's really useful. So the fact that they've added translation functions on there, to me, it's not the biggest deal because I don't know what I'll be translating. But but basically keeping the notes on the screen, being able to basically, write under certain circumstances like rain and whatnot, that's helpful. That's added features. They didn't need to do too much to make the Note 7 better. It didn't really need to do anything really to make the Note 7 a big seller. But adding new features on the S Pen, adding more RAM if they end up doing that, adding a better screen, adding a better camera, definitely makes the Note something that a lot of people who like the feature set, who likes the whole functionality of the Note, will be looking forward to. The only downside on this is I think we've now seen that the Note no longer is going to be the flagship or the experimental, everything in the kitchen sink thrown in device. It now is part of that Galaxy S line. So you expect to see what came on the S7 now on the Note 7, which is a little disappointing. But there was only so long you can continue doing that whole spearheading the Galaxy, the head of the Galaxy devices without really being
Yeah, because if you think about it, though, I think in Samsung's point of view is if you think, I talked about this earlier. You now have three different sizes for anyone in terms of, utility at large, and then something cool and different in the middle with the edge, and then you have your standard phone. But also you have a situation where in terms of the way tech is moving, and because of the slower generation cycle, especially with processors, like we heard the rumors of a Snapdragon 823, and then that changed to 821, and now even the LG V10 is rumored to have an 820 anyway. So those processor jumps are not going as we used to have it anymore between the year. It's becoming smaller and smaller and smaller. So why not just wait a full year, with the S8, and drop your next greatest processor, your next greatest camera, your next greatest stuff? Because hey, look, technically Apple does it, right? Apple only does 1 year increments. Technically, actually, it's 2 years, because the S line is just a slight update from your full line, with the iPhone. So I think for them, they realize it makes more sense that since the Galaxy S line sells the most, you might as well pack it with the most features, because then it's cost effective for you there, number one, and then it makes everything cheaper down the line for the Note and anything else that you add. Lou Rod said 128 gigabyte Note 7, 1,100 in your pocket, Sam, in your pocket.
Oh, don't worry, don't worry. There'll be a few things being sold from this apartment in order to pay.
All right, cool. So moving on from the V20, I wanted to ask you, Sam, do you have any uselessness? Because you didn't have any in the beginning. Is there anything you wanna throw out there before we continue?
There's a bunch of uselessness that I could think of, but nothing quite appropriate for this particular show. So I will keep that to myself. I don't think there's really anything glaring that came out this week.
Oh, wow.
Maybe we should ask the commenters. Maybe they have a uselessness that they want.
Yeah, guys, if you have any uselessness of the week, please do share so we can actually add it to the conversation. But we're going to move on to a report that Comcast says it wants to charge broadband users for privacy. So Comcast.
That is definitely a uselessness.
Okay, all right, there we go. See, I was going to say it could be a business advantage in saying, well, you know what, if you feel, hey, wait, I'm playing devil's advocate here. I didn't say I would agree, okay? I'm saying if you feel that your privacy is such a big concern, then paying Comcast to boost privacy protections on your broadband internet is something they would like to do. So Comcast this week, before you jump in, I know I can feel you here. I'm feeling it already. Comcast this week informed the FCC that it should be able to charge broadband users looking to protect their privacy more money. The FCC has been crafting new privacy rules for broadband that will force ISP to disclose exactly what they were collecting and selling, while also providing working opt-out tools. But the FCC also wants to take aim at efforts by some ISPs to make privacy a premium option. AT&T, for example, already charges UVerse users, customers, significantly more if they want to opt out of Snoopversity, basically Snoop advertising. So AT&T is already doing a form of that at this point. What do you think? Sam, go ahead.
Well, this all falls apart the first time one of these ISPs gets hacked, and everyone finds out that, they could have prevented it if they had actually had a clear focus on customer privacy, not trying to turn customer privacy into a feature. It is not a feature. If I give you sensitive information so that you can protect my account, so that you can, properly bill me and track me if I decide not to pay you, it is not a feature that I expect you to take this information and not share it with people to make money, okay? It is not a feature. It is a freaking expectation from a customer to an ISP or a service provider. If you want to make that a feature, then you should also make a feature of basically not sending people to my home to rob me, or not sending people to my home to paint the walls a certain color, since guess what? You know where I live already, so why not just paint it the Verizon color or the Comcast colors? This is just stupid. Someone should get smacked for this. Seriously. Turn this into a freaking, you turn just the simple, basic idea of making sure your customers aren't harassed by advertisers or that your customer information is protected. You turn that into a feature? Hells no. That should qualify for uselessness. That's really stupid.
Okay, that is a uselessness. Chewy, what about you? Chewy? Chewy?
I got nothing to say. I got nothing to say.
I think he's frozen.
I think the videos. I think Google's giving him some issues.
Yeah, yeah. All right. So Chewy, try and jump back in. I definitely agree. I think it is a uselessness. It is pretty foolish all around. You know, it's something that limits. I mean, it just shows where the companies see you as a customer. You know, they see you as you know, as cash cow. That's all it is, and that's where you know all these things lie. And it's annoying because, like you said, a hack happens, and then you realize that what was I paying my money for? That's even the worst part, you know, because we know very well that these companies do not do a good job. Right now, almost no one is doing a good job in security. Security is a point where most companies are lacking behind. I would say about 80 to 90% of the companies. So the fact that they want to charge us for this to me makes no sense. Chewy, thoughts on this?
I agree with Sam. I mean, I do not think that you should be offering a feature where you need to protect my information that I give to you so that way I can use your services. It's kind of like that thing a lot of phone companies have done where they sold a lot of people's cell phone numbers to telemarketers just so that way they can make a quick buck. Like, I don't want to get harassed a bunch of times just because I decide that I'm going to start using AT&T. And now AT&T is using these features, and you know they're charging people an extra $30 in order to not have your phone number and information given to these telemarketing companies.
I definitely agree. It's useless. Now, Jonathan Jones says that's not uselessness. I feel that that's a wave that's only beginning. Yes, it's a wave of uselessness that is beginning. I mean, you got the wave part, bro, but it's also uselessness that is beginning because, I mean, it's not. It's one of those things where, to a certain degree, as much as I do not like how Facebook handles your data, but Facebook also in its privacy clauses has already seen it, which none of us read, basically says that's what they're doing with your data. So they've told you when you sign up with a broadband ISP provider, that's not the case. So them doing it after the fact and then coming in and say, okay, well, you know what, we could sell your data, then charge you to protect that data at the same time, is trying to find ways to double dip within its own consumer pool. Because that's what it is. Companies are trying to find ways to make more money. So, someone like Comcast or AT&T say they have 50 million subscribers each, right, for broadband. They know that out of that 50 million, maybe only 5 million will pay for privacy. That's just the truth. Not a lot of people will pay for it. They're going to get some money from that, but that means they still have 45 million they're selling information stuff. So you're going, okay, fine. We've covered our privacy concerns by putting an extra charge for it, but then we can still make more money by selling this data in the first place. So that's really what they're doing here. That's why it's a complete uselessness.
Yeah. Just I don't know why anyone would sign up for Comcast service if they now feel, even rightly so or wrongly so, that your information is being sold, or even that their privacy might be leaked to a third party in order for Comcast to make more money off of a service that you're paying for. It's like you're not paying a third company or a third party to sell you ads. You're paying Comcast to basically provide a service to you, be it internet or TV. You know, the expectation should not be that you're now. The expectation should not be that you're now, you know, trying to make more money off of money you already giving them. By sending that information to a third party.
Whoa, double red. We have Mr. Juan Bagnell back here. Welcome.
Juan.
No audio? Can't hear us?
Everyone had the same issue. I think I had the same issue when I joined.
Okay, he'll be back. Yeah, it is. Moving on to something interesting, and it's taking them way too long to get to this point. Hulu live streaming service will finally launch in 2017. It looks like they've added Turner networks, so everything that Turner owns, from what do you call it again? Turner Classics to, I believe, if it's Time Warner, I mean CW, and some of all the shows that they have across the board will be on there.
I think they even have Homeland now.
The what?
Homeland. They
Yes,
have the show
yeah,
Homeland.
I'm like, yeah. So word is that the TV service will carry ESPN, FX, NBC, ABC, Disney channels, which is actually, I guess you could say, is pretty big. And also their own shows as well, Hulu shows as well. And it's rumored to be going for 40 instead of 20, which is what Sling charges. Sling charges 20, but it looks like with the 40 you're getting almost the same amount as Sling when you add in the Sling packages, because Sling has the $5 packages included. Yeah. So it looks like technically it's almost the same, just the way it's skewed. It's just that Sling gives you a very cheaper base point with very few channels at that base. Now, just your thoughts. What do you think about this? I mean, to me, this is something they should have done quite a while, and
Yeah.
it should have hit the market, because Hulu is that kind of place where they're slowly building up their own shows, or at least they've acquired a lot of British shows anyway, which is great. I mean, it's still content that is good content, just from a different part of the world.
Right,
right. Yeah, they have British content. They have Korean shows, a lot of Korean shows. They have a lot of anime. That's just me right here, so I'm happy. But your thoughts? What do you think about this and the approach getting here? I'll start off with you, Sam.
Well, I think it might be too little, too late. For $40, I think people can get a lot of the shows they already like on other services like Netflix. Even Hulu itself does specific TV shows. So what they're asking for now is for you to now pay a premium so you can now watch the show live. And I think people have walked away from that. I think we've all moved towards the binge consumption rather than.
See, I disagree that we've all moved
live
to the
show.
binge. I think you have moved to the binge.
I think a lot of people have moved to binge. Because I think that's a trend. A lot of people have moved to binge watching rather than just watching live.
Yeah, no, true. Except two shows have told us, even three shows have told us that binge consumption is growing, but hasn't gone there yet. It's called Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, and Better Call Saul. Your show too. So those shows.
But I love Better Call Saul. But the first time I saw Better Call Saul was on Netflix when I was traveling.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, yeah, exactly.
So
I said you, of course,
Yeah.
yeah. But for it to get to Netflix, you had to get ratings for Netflix to decide to pick it up and add it.
No,
to
Netflix was involved in
Yeah.
the creation of that
Okay,
show.
all right.
Yeah.
Netflix did it hand in hand with what's the name of that channel? Not TLC, but
AMC.
AMC.
Yep.
Yeah, they did it hand in hand because that's when Netflix can carry it internationally, and AMC carries it on TV here. So I think
Exactly.
the consumption I think people's way of consuming media is totally changing, and I think Hulu doing this is a little too late. It's
Yeah,
too
man,
little
we're
too late.
talking about tech in here. Where the hell all this entertainment nonsense come from?
It's you know what, you can just shush.
We have a
I'm here.
have a
Let's
section
do this.
of
Now the
entertainment.
show can begin.
Wow. You know what, Mr. Juan Bagnell, you have audio, do you? Right?
So I can hear you guys. Are you guys hearing me okay?
Yes, we can.
Oh, yes, we
can.
can.
All right.
So
Yeah.
the Windows Anniversary Edition was the final nail in the coffin for my old FireWire audio interface. The thing's totally dead.
Oh.
You know what? I think you know what the funny thing is. The day I went up to pick my extra band, there was someone there with the same exact issue where
Yeah.
the USB port just dies for all its FireWires. I mean, the FireWire port just dies for everything.
It's gone. There's nothing I can do to resurrect this thing. It took me all morning. I could kind of get audio playback working for a little bit, but there was no input, and then the output would die. And so I'm on my little handy recorder right now, using that as my interface, and that's not going to work for very long. So I'll figure out.
Great.
Microsoft came in and was like, "You lose." Good.
I mean, is there a way to go FireWire to USB? Maybe. I mean,
No, remember, like FireWire was its
That doesn't
own
exist.
serial port.
Oh,
there was
yeah.
never an adapter for that.
exists. Oh my God, yeah.
So
true.
the only thing that might work in the distant future is if the manufacturer, who's never going to make drivers for this thing ever again, decides that they want to support Thunderbolt. because then I could do a Thunderbolt to FireWire PCI adapter, and then that could work. But that's never going to happen.
Oh wow.
What you're using right now sounds pretty good, and the audio in general is better, so that's good.
What's that?
The audio in general, also on the connectivity, sounds a lot better. So you're coming through.
I mean, considering we have like 5 people, it usually drops drastically.
Yeah.
So right now we're sounding even keel. Thank you very much, Google.
Yeah, we should probably stop even referencing it before Google pulls the plug on us again.
All right, so
Maybe the FireWire was the issue.
Well, how funny would that be if like my FireWire audio interface were creating some kind of like confusion for Google? I can't figure out this FireWire nonsense.
Yeah.
1394B. What is this?
So Juan, your thoughts on Hulu's live service?
I actually haven't even read up on that story yet. So if you want to get me for that one.
So anyway, so Hulu is starting off their live TV service. We'll start off early 2017. They just added Time Warner networks. They also have ESPN, FX, NBC, ABC, Disney Channel in there, as well as their own shows, Homeland, and things like that. Now, in comparison, the other anywhere live service is Sling, which is the one we're using now. Starts off at $20. Hulu starts off at $40, but Sling's 20 has fewer things combined at that $20 price point. You have a lot of the $5 packages that they add on with that.
Gotcha.
So just your thoughts on that. And I said this should have come out last year at least. It might be a little late, but Sam says it's dead. We all just binge, because Sam binges, but so it means we all binge.
Right. Well, no. I guess I would question why Hulu is pushing this as aggressively now, when we've got cable providers and internet service providers working towards trying to institute caps for everything. Right now, it would seem to me like this would be a time of caution for these style services, to be launching these style services in the light of how ISPs are trying to throttle everyone's data. So if your service is sort of dependent on that internet connection, and a live stream is going to be sort of a weighty way to do that, I think cord cutters are all a little apprehensive about how much content they'd be able to stream without any kind of additional bills or penalties. As for the service itself, I mean, I agree with both of you guys. I think there's something to be said for there was just a study that came out, and I wish I could remember who fronted it. That
says I'm right.
Well, and to Sam's credit, if you don't have every episode of a TV show available, then consumers are not going to jump on board a show. So if you miss them from the pilot and you don't have a way to show them what else is happened, like you catch them at episode 6, no one's going to watch that show unless they can go back and easily consume everything up to that point. Your show's been running for 3 seasons, and someone tries to get into it now, and they can't go back and watch every show. Your show's dead to them. So Sam's point about binge watching is totally appropriate. But then, to your token, we should have had these types of resources and these types of streaming options available years ago. In addition to being able to then live broadcast on top of the fact. And Hulu's mission in working with the other networks in being that resource where you could catch up on shows sort of fell apart. So to see them try now do live stream, I think is interesting. But if someone goes to Hulu and they're like, oh, well, I want to watch something on ABC, I can't watch anything on ABC, so what's the point of me having this? It's like we kind of need all or nothing at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree there.
And even the price point of 40 seems basically as though it's like an artificial standard that's trying to be created. Because even if you look at Sony View, which was started at $49.99.
No, $59.
No, I'm saying even that's been slashed down to $39.99. So everyone's trying to get that $40 start.
Yeah, I mean, because I think financially for 40 makes sense for them. I don't know what their math is, but I think that price point makes sense for them. But I also think the 20 of Sling is also very, very a little bit of false advertising, because when you click on it, you go, I'm not watching anything at all at $20. You have to add to even.
Oh yeah, you do.
So that 40 is still just Sling has, at least with the $5 packages that they put in, give you the sense of ooh, I can add whatever I want. By the time you keep adding, you're at you're like $60, $70.
The problem to me is that a la carte model. to me, they are the a la carte model because you
Oh, no,
have
no,
those
I mean,
$5 packages that you can add on.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they're not. I'm just saying that it's a very dangerous a la carte model because
Oh yeah.
by the time people add, people, you go to this point where you're like, wow, and especially, and they have some really cool bundles in there. They have like, I could, like when my cousins came to visit, they had like the whole Spanish channel bundle, and they love the telenovelas in Nigeria. I'm telling you, they absolutely love it. So it would be a nice bundle. Yes, yes.
But don't they have versions of those shows in Nigeria already? Though, like
They have Telemundo Africa, okay?
Oh,
How does that work?
Though.
Wait,
how
does that work?
No.
That is amazing.
Guys, the pale-skinned Hispanic guy is so happy about Telemundo Africa.
That is really amazing. Like,
Where's Kanye?
Africa.
Yeah,
Like,
they
like,
do.
like we need a Houseway graphic to pop up when that came up.
No, they have
Somebody explain that.
No.
Somebody find a PR person for Telemundo Africa. We need him on the show.
No, because actually, because even when I was growing up, right, my mom watched a lot of telenovelas. It was all dubbed or redubbed in English, and we have shows like that back home too, similar. So creating content like that and putting there, making sure that your content here is dubbed for a whole continent of people who love it, makes so much great business sense. I mean, my cousin's like, oh yeah, I've caught up with where they are in America. We're behind by like 3 months, and she just binge watched here because she had access to it over here. So yeah, it definitely makes sense. But since Juan and Warren are here, I just want to go back quickly to touch on the Galaxy Note 7. Because we're going to get our final thoughts on those devices. So,
I hear that's the hot new phone.
I didn't get to share my thoughts.
I just started off with
No,
you.
you started off with you.
I'm talking about the Hulu thing. No one got there.
Oh.
Okay, all right, Warren, you're coming in at episode 6. All right, we're saying you can go back and binge watch episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then get back to 6. Okay, let's go do it.
Okay, you can weave in Hulu in there with your Galaxy Note 7 thought process. But since we're all at the event, except for Sam, and Sam has stated his love that he will pay for the 6 GB rumored 128 version. Your thoughts on the Galaxy Note 7, especially, I would say some of the differences from the announcement to when you held it.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Oh, gotta run. Hold on.
Okay. So Juan, please.
Okay, we'll jump in. So, I'll keep this brief because and I don't know what you guys have been talking about. So I watched what YouTubers have to say about the Note 7, and I feel like an utterly and completely left of center wacko because I was the only one that was like kind of stoked that this is the phone that we got.
Super Saf, I think you guess
okay.
So both of you were the last two.
so me and Super Saf were right, and everyone else was wrong, which I found very surprising because usually guys like Danny and Mr. Mobile, like they're usually on the pulse, and they were like way off. So that I was really disappointed that everyone seemed to miss the point. No, I have to say that for all of our concerns going into the event and everything that we were worried about with the Galaxy Note 7 maybe not being a big enough change, I have to say I think Samsung did a really good job of continuing this year being a year of refinement. All those tiny little attention to detail issues that we had with the Galaxy S6 and the Note 5 last year were all addressed. I think Samsung's big problem was the same hype machine that always seems to get Apple every year. Samsung was not out there this year talking about blowing our minds. Samsung was out very publicly, all of their reps talking about we're going to fix the problems from the change to a metal and glass body that we had last year. So with the Galaxy S6 event, if we remember, Samsung was very humble. We listened to you, we were addressing your issues, we're bringing back the features you said you cared about. And I guess like a part of it, and the part of it is my fault too, in that hope that the Note would be something bigger or bolder, that kind of colored my perception of what it was going to be. Actually getting it in my hand, actually getting to play with it, I think they've done a tremendous job of continuing the line this year. But it does mean that we're going to have to see something bolder from Samsung next year. It's going to be the same TikTok that we see with the iPhone. You have the iPhone 6 and then the iPhone 6S. Well, I don't think people are wrong in thinking that this is like an a Galaxy Note 5S. But of that, we got a lot of improvements over the Galaxy Note 5. So next year with the Galaxy S8, hopefully we see something bolder. And then I would like to see Samsung eventually move to something where there's a bigger delineation between Galaxy S's and Galaxy Notes. But this was not the year to do it. This was the year to fix smaller problems, to address smaller issues, and polish up their product line so there weren't so many rough edges around the device.
Okay, cool. Warren.
All right, so for the Galaxy Note 7, it's interesting because I think everybody, after the announcement and even sort of going around there, were probably mostly on a little bit of the disappointed side because it wasn't anything evolutionary or big change. But we are like that with everything. If it isn't a big change, everyone kind of goes, meh. I want to stand up and clap harder than life. That's what everybody wants to do when they go to an event. But that rarely happens. But the Note 7 itself is a pretty nice Note. They've done a lot of good improvements. They've brought back the SD card, which I think is a huge thing for a lot of people, and giving you 256 gigabyte card for free if you buy it. Through,
oh wow, okay.
If I believe one of the deals is that's huge enough in of itself. That's why I don't think we'll see anything higher than 64 gigabytes. Because it wouldn't make any sense beyond that, especially since you can get 256 gigs out of a card for them for free, or a Gear Fit 2 or Gear S2 option as well too coming from them. So there's a lot of great things they're packaging in with this. It was cool that it's you can draw underwater. So I mean that's a nice feature. I think if maybe 3 people might use, but Chewie will probably use it.
I was saying this earlier. It's not drawing on the water. It's basically using your phone at any time. Yeah. Being able to just put a note down quickly. Doesn't matter what situation.
He's using it in the rain from the torrential downpour that just happened here about 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, exactly.
You can use it.
You can use it wherever. I mean, that's just the idea. Especially the fact that the S Pen is functional then. That to me really is a very, very solid point. It sounds foolish until you get into that situation.
But it's just nice to see that they finally have a waterproof Galaxy Note, which they've never had before, which nobody ever really noted about.
Was the Note 3? Didn't it have that little weird flappy port cover, or was that just the?
No,
it didn't. I'm sorry. You're right.
No, this is the first. I
was confusing that with the body trim on the Galaxy S5. Never mind.
Yeah,
shut up.
S5 had that. None of the. This is the first Note to get that feature. The iris scanner, isn't that cool? Nice little way to add some added security if you're worried about your fingerprints being copied and you wanna, just use your eyeballs and whatnot to open up the phone, I suppose. But I can see, I'm waiting to see somebody find a way to cheat that system too. But overall, it's a nice device. There's a lot of refinements, a lot of software changes in terms of the way TouchWiz looked compared to what we've seen it before, especially with their LGS notification center. That's just has like everything under the sun, and you just swipe it down. There are your settings and everything, and maybe all your notifications in that one little space for your notifications. But good God Almighty, if you store notifications like I do, like I have like 50 of them at a time before I check them. If you have that in that type of app drawer, good luck. But there's supposed to be some changes in Android 7 that'll hopefully fix that. But overall, I like the device. I think it's cool.
Whoa.
What?
Warren, you didn't talk about your best feature. The S Pen being able to record GIFs. Yeah, because you're going to.
That's technically not like a really an S Pen feature. That's kind of like just the feature in the phone. Cause I'm pretty sure you can just do that with your finger. It's just the app within the phone.
I think it's with the S Pen, because it's just easier to do with the S Pen.
Yeah, it's easier to do with the S Pen.
So I think it's locked to the S Pen.
But they didn't match that. Weirdly enough, they didn't match that to say that was an S Note feature. Just said you can make GIFs out of pictures now. And I was like, okay. This is
and video. So you can actually record off someone's YouTube video, because I saw watching Super Saf just make a GIF out of his video, like that. And I'm like, as soon as I saw that, I was like, Warren, right there. So yes, that is all you, bro. That is all you. Just be prepared, Juan. It's gonna be hell. It's gonna be hell. He's gonna be making so
I'm actually
many.
kind of excited, to see it first. What comes down from that? So
Yeah, lots of things will come down from that.
Yeah.
Memes all day.
So we talked about that, and also quickly thoughts on rumored specs of the V20, because even that too, other than the camera, which is getting a big bump, is staying pretty much the same as the Galaxy Note 9 or even any other device that's come out this year with the A20.
I'll go first just because I hope they don't mess around with the V10 too much.
V20.
No, that's what I mean. Is I hope they don't mess around with what
important.
we had on the V10 too much. I've been on a number of podcasts saying I want a Qualcomm 820, and I mean USB Type-C would be kind of nice, but I don't necessarily need it, and I want you to leave it a rugged build so that it's still mil-spec 810G, and I want a bigger battery. If you can address all those things and come in at similar price points to what the V10 launched for last year, I'm happy. That's really all I wanted from my super cool LG content creation machine.
Warren?
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, wow.
Is he out again? Okay, so I'll go on just a little bit further. It would be nice to have like the second wide-angle camera, but really the strength of the V10 was that insane camera app, something that I think G5 owners were really bummed that they didn't get. And so this is going to be one of those really interesting years for LG where if they can continue with some of the compromises, like we're obviously not going to get the better AMOLED display, we're not going to get water resistance, the device is probably going to be chunkier for having the bigger battery, we're not going to try and make the sleekest, slimmest device possible. And it sounds like they're even keeping the second ticker display, which they don't need to do.
Yeah,
the way that the G5 had the always-on screen, the screen that could sort of give you notifications and stuff. As long as we can keep all those things, I think LG has a recipe where they can cut costs to deliver a product. That's going to be the big determining factor. If this thing comes out swinging, trying to compete against a Galaxy S7 Edge, I think LG is going to be in for another losing proposition this year.
I agree. I think the ticker needs to go, and actually put an always-on display is much better than having that ticker on there. Just,
But what they might be doing, this could be that LG scramble where they're going to try and recycle as much of the V10 as possible.
Yeah.
So that the re-engineering costs are as low as possible. Maybe manufacturing can just shift over to putting in a different logic board and including a different battery. I doubt it's going to be that one-to-one. Not if they're also having to replace the camera module. I mean, obviously, there's going to be a lot of process involved.
Yeah, the camera module, if they're replacing that, but I agree with you. The logic board might be similar enough, and even maybe the casing itself, where the outer designs are just trimmed slightly differently from the original intake.
Doesn't it seem like it's been LG's problem since the G3 that with every body style change, they've been having issues with the first batches of their products?
Yeah.
Especially looking at like the G4 and the boot looping problems that happened after a couple software updates. The G5, where the manufacturing didn't get better until well into the run of that phone. If we look at the G5s that you can buy now versus the ones that we got to review, they're still not completely fixed, but they're not as nice as those prototype devices were. Like the seams, the antenna bands that were kind of covered by the paint, how you can see through the bottom chin, light pushes through the bottom chin, and then the bleed from the LCD. All of those issues sort of come together in a way that sort of shows us that LG does have a problem with QA. And they can't afford those issues, especially with something as baller as a V20. And not if they're going to continue to be in any way competitive for the second half of this year.
Yeah, they really need to, I don't know, I mean, they really need to find a way to put themselves back on the market right now because, HTC had a successful launch with their device this year, and then we now have seen the reign of the mid-range is back, you got OnePlus making a lot of noise, even though to me it's the weakest of all the new ones, but they still came out with a solid product. Alcatel came out with a nice product itself. Then of course ZTE not ZTE, sorry, ZTE with the Axion 7, which I know you have, and it looks like it's a solid device again. So for LG, they need to come up with something that puts them back into that status of your HTC, Samsung, and
the dangerous thing for LG is expecting any kind of success right now. I mean, this is going to sound really brutal, but LG has to understand that they need to put out an amazing device which is not going to sell well.
Yeah, they
The
need.
G5. I'm sorry,
go ahead,
just real
go
quick.
ahead.
The G5 was such a turnoff that they need to be in the same position as HTC. The HTC 10 critical response. They had the benefit of HTC Vive just sort of getting HTC's brand awareness back out there,
Yeah.
and that they have to know that this is going to be a rebuilding time because you gotta convince consumers to come back on board, and that can take a couple years. So after the G5 kind of fizzling the way it did, LG's sort of been knocked back that peg, where even if the V20 is amazing, it's only going to serve as a way to reintroduce consumers to LG, and then they need to build on the success of that phone and slowly bring their audience back to where they were. I'll be very surprised if LG can really execute that competently right now, because it seems like they're in kind of a scrambling panic mode, and that's not a good position for a company to be in when you have to have a conversation with your shareholders about measured, responsible, and consistent growth again. They want to see something exciting, they want to see numbers blow up, and that's not going to happen.
Oh no, I definitely agree. What I was just going to say is that you definitely need that device that we as reviewers will tell people this is a great device. Even though maybe the Note 7 is the device that literally is the best all around for the year,
Yeah.
that we go, oh, but man, that V20. You mean like
I need to be able to tell my audience there are reasons to buy this phone. There are too many phones out there where there are not reasons to buy the phone other than, like, you know, it just happened to be in your field of view and you happen to have the right number of dollars to get it. Then you could buy it. You know, there are reasons to buy a Samsung. There are reasons to buy an HTC. There are not as many reasons, in my opinion, to buy an LG G5. There would be reasons to buy a refined V10.
Yeah, so that makes sense. I think that is it in terms of topics, and our two other guests are, I don't know, Sam and Warren. Can you hear us? Earth to Sam, Earth to Warren. Do you copy, Houston?
Yes, but I'm busy at the moment.
Okay. All right. So Sam is back. Sam is back. That's good. Anything else before we round up the show this week, guys? Any things you want to cover? Any topics?
I think there was a really interesting question in the chat by LGH Jutsma. And he was asking a question about the torrent sites that are getting taken down recently. Taking down kick-ass torrents, and they're taking down torrents, right? So
I think torrents just closed its search options, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So basically, they're closing down, pretty much.
Yeah. So basically, he's asking, is this the end of the torrent sites, or will others come along? And I think that's actually kind of a good question, because that's big news when it comes coming from content owners, right, from IP owners, if they're still going after torrents. Because we know a few years ago it was the Pirate Bay that was the big torrent site that got taken down. Now we're seeing stuff like Kick-Ass Torrents, which came in kind of as a replacement for Pirate Bay. So I think it's really interesting to see it along with new deals coming out for Hulu and new shows to Netflix, and even the new Star Trek show being delivered by CBS Online. If the fight against torrent sites is actually going to ramp up. I
think it will, but my problem is not necessarily the torrent sites per se. Is the fact that, I'm sorry, you released this movie's out on Blu-ray in China like a month after it comes out, and you're thinking it's not going to get thrown on a torrent site or a news group. Let's be realistic here, okay? Forget all that. You released it in China, and you make me wait 4 months to get it. Let's just be factual. If you want to put it out early, make a deal with someone. Put it on a Netflix a month after, and if you want to even add a certain caveat, I find Netflix customers who want to get all the movie releases early, it's an extra $2. I'll do it. But just find a better way, because when you're releasing it this is a global economy. It's like how a perfect example for us on YouTube. Okay. All right.
Well, apparently we have activated Chewie's self-destruct.
No, Chewie.
It's really,
The hell
really
is
a shame,
going on?
He seems like a nice guy. I feel bad, but
the blue liner.
If it's your time, I guess it's your time. So
don't do it. Don't do it, Chewy.
What's going on?
No, but I mean, these companies need to understand this though, because when you're releasing that stuff early out there, it's going to get out on torrents.
No, but I mean, like this is the strategy that I think is interesting. Is the idea of going after and suing the people who torrent or the people who file share hasn't put a dent in the file sharing community. You know,
Yeah.
people get threats and letters from their ISPs. So now the tactic is going after these places that host the torrent files. Obviously, the sites aren't hosting any actual content, but since they're facilitating the transfer, that's where I think it's interesting seeing what local law has to say about that relationship. Can you shut down a site which does not traffic in copyrighted material, but facilitates the trafficking for other people? And that's a really sticky legal question. We've been seeing like the Pirate Bay people, you know, in continuous legal issues surrounding that very same topic.
Yeah.
And it seems like a number of local governments have been emboldened by shutting down various branches of the Pirate Bay to now go after other file sharing sites. And doesn't that mean that file sharers are just going to push deeper into the dark web to try and avoid those types of shenanigans?
Yeah.
You remember, these things are never going to go away. It's the same way you have a regular law-abiding citizen, and you're always going to have that black market / criminal element on the other side of it. These things are never going to go away. The way you address things like this, like you mentioned, is to create alternatives. If it is easier for me to go and get Netflix or to see a show on Netflix than it is for me to download a show, I'm going to go see it on Netflix because it's more convenient.
Yeah.
So you have to provide options, not just fight the torrents or the other news nets out there you have to provide options.
Yeah, I mean, and that helped especially with TV shows. You know how people was like, fine, I think I can wait and that's what helped Netflix also binging. It's like I can wait and binge on Game of Thrones or whatever because I'm gonna get it on Netflix or I'll get it at the end of the season. But with movies, you have the situations where it doesn't matter what the movie is, whether it's good, bad, ugly. In China, it's coming out in 4 weeks. In 4 weeks, it's gonna hit. And it's going to be a Blu-ray copy of the thing, and it's on the web. And when you have that, when basically you're facilitating your own demise by doing that, that's what the company's doing. So instead of you doing that, it's giving people options, because if you give that option to say, look, also think about it from, remember when the Napster guy was trying to do the whole thing of bringing movies to the home? Yeah. This is your way of even counteracting that, so that at least you have it in your cycle. Say, look, you know what? A month now is when, because it shouldn't take that long to release a Blu-ray for any movie. It really shouldn't anymore. We're in a digital age where everything is already copied, pressed, mastered. It's submitted to the what's the Association for Movies in terms of rating for?
In terms of ratings,
MPAA.
It's submitted to MPAA way ahead of the movie release. So everything is done. You just need to either just share it online, give people an avenue to actually get this stuff, and then you're good. And I mean, I think people will pay. People will gladly pay for it. As long as it's not nothing crazy. You're not charging them like $100 or something.
Yeah, I mean, they got to do something. I mean, make it easier for people. It's like the TV folks that seem somewhat finally getting on that idea with the Hulu thing and all that. Although I think there's more of that. I think is a test bed of somewhat of what Comcast is going to be doing soon, with doing very similarly the same thing and just letting people just access your TV and services right through an app. So to me, it's like if you can make it easier for people to access it, it doesn't cost a whole lot of money. People will most likely access it and use it. How does music piracy go down? Well, they finally just let people download music at individual songs for free through iTunes. And then, well, how do we continue to make money? Well, we allow people to stream and pay a flat fee to have a la carte as much as they want with it, even though you have people in the industry trying to break that shit and go around, and even though they make way more money on their damn tours and need to stop worrying about what they make off an album, because they don't get any of that money because they're all idiots inside 360 deals. But it's true, they do. It's just like there's ways to make money. We just have too many people There's ways to make money in any of this stuff, and it's all about offering value to the customer. You offer value. At some point they're willing to pay to receive that value because they're willing to trade money for that value. The fortunate part is we have too many car people with MBAs that don't know what the fuck value actually is, so we get crap like this.
No, Chewy, any thoughts? Because sorry, I feel
Not
like
to diss people with MBAs, but come on, I know a fact they don't teach you anything about value.
For a second there, I thought you were going to say not to diss Chewy, and you're like, why would
Chewy, any thoughts?
I'm not really sure. I mean, I agree. Like there are too many people who just don't understand the true gravity of the value it has, and they just want to make money, regardless of what happens with it. If it's something people want, they think that they can make $1 off of it, regardless. But as of right now, I really not too sure.
I mean, I think, like I said before, if you do this, to me, I look at it this way. If you had a movie that comes out, Star Wars, and to me, look, a month after, drop it on Netflix, and it should only last a month, and then the Blu-ray comes right after, then you can buy and own it if you want.
Almost everything should be distributed in some ways through Netflix, Hulu, or even people that use Plex. There's got to be ways to push this content directly in.
Good vehicle for stuff like that.
Vehicle for things like this. And everybody can handshake each other to make the right deals, to get the right money, so everybody gets paid. But unfortunately, everybody has MBAs, and you know how that shit goes. Nobody wants to give anybody any value. I'm sorry, it just pisses me off. Nobody wants to give anybody actual value.
Whoa. I'm talking about value. I got an MBA. Don't fucking devalue my MBA like that.
What's the
problem?
All right. So
how can I devalue an MBA when they don't teach you value?
That was ringing. That is my cue. That's my cue to leave. But
all right, man.
Have a good show.
All right, guys. We're going to round up anyway. But yeah, I think on that note, we should round things up on the show. It's fun and lively, especially with everyone coming in last minute. Bunch of late people.
That was pretty exciting.
Yeah. But we get to the point of the show where we talk about what we are doing now. I mean, what we've done last week or what we're doing moving forward. So I'm gonna start with you, Chewy, since you're new. And tell us what you'll be doing in the next coming weeks, because it has nothing to do with tech, but I figured it'd be fun for you to share.
Right.
And something that at least I have read that you might be part of.
All right. Actually, in the next coming weeks, I will actually be going to my shooting dates for Ready Player One. I'm not allowed to say too much about locations or anything about the script, but I'll be in it, and I'm trying to, boost my part a little more, so I'm trying to create more of a following. Maybe they were like, all right, this guy's got something in America. He might be worth something to give him a little more lines. Let's see. So right now,
you heard it here first. You heard it here first.
Yep. So
I work exclusive via BW1.com.
Yep. So this movie is going to be something amazing, just because I'm reading the book. I haven't finished it just yet, but I get jitters reading it. I'm just like, wow, I know exactly what they're talking about. And some things I have no complete idea, but I'm just like, wow, if this scene was really created with the kind of budget that they have going for it right now, this could be gold. Almost, I kind of want to say the next Matrix, but this is bigger than that. This is all of our childhoods of playing video games.
It'll be bigger than that.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, definitely follow Chewy. That's his Twitter handle there. We're just making sure that we just want to make sure that he's a big star. You know why? So that all of us can retire. That's why. That is just the plan we have right here. We can all manage and give him value, according to Warren.
I mean, everything you guys are doing so far is just it's more than enough. But anything and everything counts. So I mean, anything you guys can do, I'm greatly appreciated for it. I mean, it's just amazing. Thank you guys.
All right, cool. Definitely will spread the word. But yeah, definitely follow Chewy. That's his handle here, Okoye Chewy on Twitter. Next up, Mr. Warren Bowman, who we know is going to tell us his usual tagline, but what can we expect from you next week, as also what have you done this past week? Fire away.
Xbox One S and
Xbox actually just
One S.
What he's going to do.
He actually said it. He didn't say stuff. Which is,
stuff.
Okay.
What else? What else? What else is there? Oh, and because I had gotten so wrapped up in Xbox One stuff, I still owe you guys a Galaxy Note video from the event. So there'll be an all info you need to know video coming up probably later today, at some point when I get the chance to wrap and edit that up accordingly, and more Xbox One stuff because a lot of people preferred to hear more about the Xbox One S apparently. So we'll be doing more Xbox One S stuff, even though there's no S on the entire box or in the system or anywhere to decide where you
No, there's an S in the back of the system.
where.
It says
Where?
it. Trust me, it does. Anyway, Mr. Juan back
No,
now.
sir, it didn't happen.
You can go check yours. What can we expect from you, and what did you have last week? I know, of course, you had the Galaxy Note7 event in New York, and now you're
Yup.
back home in the West Coast.
Note7 stuff all over the channel. We finally got to do our first collaboration video with me and Jaime Rivera. So you can see us in the same place at the same time. It's not like Batman and Bruce Wayne. We are two separate people. So we've got a bunch of stuff up there, some hands-on, a couple quick looks versus the S7 Edge and the Note 5. And now coming back from that, I've got to cover this Sony. And
No, you don't. No, you don't.
Yeah, no, I'm on assignment, and I'm gonna be wrapping that up. But probably either Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll also have the real camera review out for the Axon 7.
Oh, so how is that? Any hints?
First impressions are very positive. I don't think it can reach that top tier of camera performance from like an LG V10 or a Galaxy S7. I think some of the software fights you a little bit more than you would want it to when you're actually trying to compose and you're trying to land the shots that you want. But output is solid, and it's the first phone that I've played with which delivers H.265 compression for UHD video.
Oh,
so it's some compelling offerings for a $400 phone. It's just I think at $400 and what the phone is trying to do is so ambitious that a few of these things aren't quite as polished as they should be. But overall, this has been a very positive camera experience so far.
All right, cool. It's good. And on my end, last week Note 7 stuff pretty much, and as well as Xbox One S. My review of Xbox One X will go up most likely tomorrow because I'm doing some stuff with HDR10 video, just kind of seeing how that is. I might add a little comparison to the standard Samsung 4K HDR Blu-ray player, so you guys can see the performance differences there. If there is,
this HDR TV nonsense is annoying.
Yeah,
just by the way,
you don't have HDR TV. Sorry,
I do have an HDR TV. Okay.
Yeah.
It's just that the standards don't work. I do have an HDR TV.
Sorry. No, you don't. Anyway, let me finish my.
Sorry, I do.
Aren't you so glad you joined us, Chewy?
Yes. So we have that up. We have that up on the channel.
This HDR justice.
That's the saltiness, man. Saltiness.
I don't know. We use things that aren't standardized. What else is new?
Of course, it's not standard yet until it gets to a standard, and that's a different.
No, that doesn't exist. It's like that's like this Wi-Fi ever gotten a standard?
2.4, 5 gigahertz. I mean, they're going with like 3.8 if you wanted to.
We were so close.
I know we were so close to ending. Warren, okay, you know what? No,
almost out.
No, we're done. Thank you very much, guys. Check out all the channels.
Hurry up and close the show.
We're going to start off with Mr. Chuy Okoye. Definitely follow him on Twitter. It's Okoye Chuy.
And Facebook.
Yes, and on Facebook. Follow him, spread the word. Be like, I know someone's going to be Ready Player One. And, we're trying to make him a big star. So, so that when we do this, we will be like sipping lattes for you and maybe having some drinks and not, and then we can be, part of his entourage crew.
I was gonna say
that's the goal. that is the goal. That is the goal.
Entourage.
Yeah, and of course, Mr. Warren Bowman from BW1.com. Definitely follow him there. Also help him so he can understand HDR and maybe his TV gets an update. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
No, the TV has the update. It's stupid. It's so dumb. It's like it can do HDR through apps, but it can't do it through the HDMI port for some. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
We're so close. We're so close to run.
And then, of course, you can check out Mr.
Damn stupid.
aka Some Gadget Guy. Sorry, Some Gadget Guy is on Pocket now. Also check him out on Pocket now on YouTube. And of course, Sam, Black Iron _man, and myself, Borderwork. It's Dundee Borderwork is the handle on Twitter. Thank you very much.
Is Pocket now in HDR?
And always enjoy your
Got an app so I can